Hello, hopefully a shorter video. So the corner markers of EXP, specifically the ones on the sides that are that appear to be part of the bumper molding, and this is only going to be the front quarter. The rear corners are similar, but being they don't have a marker or light, there's a lot of differences. But removing these guys can be a pain in the butt. Installing them even more so. And here's why. So I went and removed all the nuts that hold this guy in so that you can see them here. It's 1, 2, 3, and they just go into those holes there. And then what the nuts are these pressed or stamped steel little lock nuts. Some places will call them lock nuts of some sort. They're stamped nuts. But yeah, do keep in mind with these, they're because of the way they're shaped and because of what they go into. Any nut like that's shaped like this goes into a plastic stem, and because they do that, they chew these guys up pretty good, and they're only able to go onto these guys so many times. So it's important that when you put them back on, you try to reuse the threads. Don't cross thread them or anything, because it's very easy to strip these guys out. It's also very easy to shear them clean off. But once you've gone in there, fished them out, and it is quite the chore. I find the best way to do it is go underneath here. You try to get your hand up in front of this black fender liner, if you guys can barely see it, but you are able to sneak a hand up in there, and there's enough room. Once your hand is up in there, there's enough room for your wrist to be comfy down in there. You can see there's a couple marks on my arm here from where I was just doing that. So if you have access to like some sort of thin sock or something, you can put it down the length of your arm. That'll help a lot. But if you're trying to do this in like a bulky sweatshirt, forget it. It's just not going to happen. But you get up in there with your 13mm deep well socket wrench. I actually left mine in there because it's tricky to get in and out. So since I already removed all these nuts, I'm just going to leave that in there. Then once you get those 3 nuts off, you'll have to feel around to find them. With the hood open, you can kind of see the top one. Barely. Kind of. Not really. Not the best. But you can kind of see it. You can't see it here on camera. But it is visible once you're in there. And then the other 2 just aren't visible at all unless you remove the fender liner. So it's best to just feel around or remove the fender liner and then go after this guy. Once you remove the 3 nuts, you're able to slide it out of the fender, and it'll hang like so long as the bulb is still attached. Now, to remove the bulb, you can see on the socket says remove, and then it's got a, you can barely see it, but there is an arrow that points to the left. So lefty-loosey. Let me just set this on my lamp so I can't drop it. So you just twist it about 45 degrees to the left, and then be delicate, be gentle. It will come on out. There we are. And it goes in that hole any direction you choose. There's a few spots on the cars that have a similar setup, but they are directional. Or like one of these 4 corners will be longer or shorter than the others, and it makes it so that you can only put in the socket one direction. But this one, you can do it any direction you please. And then once you get that off, these guys are labeled. It says right hand top. This goes on the right hand side of the car, and the letters point up, so it installs very intuitively like so. And then the plastic bezel around it, I believe, does the same thing. For whatever reason, the Ford emblem's usually upside down on these guys, but these plastic parts, they usually say left or right. But as long as you know that they should look like this once installed, you're golden. Now, once you have this loose in your hand, now you can separate the lens from the bezel. And to do that, it's just the 4 Phillips screws. And there's no way to remove these while the part is attached. Yes, I know it looks like you have access holes, but you really don't. So don't fool yourself into thinking that you'll be able to remove the bezel from the lens while it's attached to the car, because you just won't. Sure, you have an access hole for each of the 2 bottom screws, but the top ones, you got nothing. You're flying blind, so don't even worry about it. Even if you couldn't get in there, you'd probably end up stripping the screws anyways. So it's just not worth the hassle, but simply remove the screws, this guy comes off, and then you're golden. There is a little bit of adjustability with this lens. You can see on the lower 2 screw holes, they are oblonged or ovaled, so that this guy can move side to side some. The top ones aren't really like that. You can see this one has a little bit of oval, but then this one's got like next to nothing, because this one's more or less the alignment one. You start with this screw, and then you do the other 3 afterwards. And once you do that, and then you stick this back in the hole, you do have enough adjustability to make this guy fit exactly how you want it to, or at least really close. I'm always able to get it really close, but nothing's ever too perfect. Reassembly is the same way, but backwards. Like I said, it's a royal pain in the butt. It's a lot of feeling around while you're laying on your back here next to the car with your preferred hand up inside the quarter panel, and trying to go after these studs that you can only find by feel, while using these press nuts that are very aggressive to the plastic stems. So when you're doing this, just be careful and don't over tighten them. Geez, you'll shoot these suckers right off, or strip them, or both. And then you're in the world of hurt. You get to undo everything you did, plastic weld these back together, and then try again and hope for the best. So it's just best if you can kind of avoid that by taking a few minor precautions. Just be wise. Not asking too much from you guys. But yeah, anyhow, that's how you get to the bulb. That's how you change the lens. That's how you change the bezel. This bezel, I gotta do some plastic welding to it while I was at a parking lot. The bottom corner of a shopping cart thudded right into this guy. Of course, 2 inches to the right it would have been this, and the worst that would happen is maybe chip the paint. But no, it ended up being this piece. However, I do have it broke off only into 1 piece, so I have the whole piece. I'll be able to plastic weld that back on, no problem. It just, it sucks because it consumes most of my afternoon. So I'll set this down, I'll let you guys go, and we'll get back to it.